Thanks for staying with us. Now that we've set aside the topic that was hot, we're going to discuss our usual Thursday family-related topics. And this one came to us also via mail. It was about a gentleman who was saying that after marriage, he had to break his wife's SIM so that she doesn't have access to any of her exes and her past. And the conversation was that right for him to do? And is it the preventive measure to stop or restrict your spouse from being tempted to, go back to their past? And I will connect that to a story I read this morning about a woman who, she was actually very sick. She had cancer. She's been battling with cancer for 10 years. And she was now, she was close to her end, and her husband asked her for her last wish. And she wanted some time, some intimate time with her ex, because she felt that that's the only person she emotionally connected with, that physically and emotionally connected with, that is that the intimacy is not just about the physical, but there's an emotional connection where we are. So that's the person that I want to have that feeling with one more time before I finally go. Of course, he wasn't happy about that. So connecting that to this story where the man is saying, feeling or no feeling, no, you can't go access him again. I'm going to break the SIM so that you don't have access. It goes back to the conversation of, okay, do we still want to marry virgins? Or do you want somebody who has a past? That's really the conversation today. You can call us on 081-076-1679, 0902-416-440. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweets? Mariam, you want to jump?
Okay. Well, I don't know. This kind of topic. Adults are getting married, right? I don't know why another adult will break another person's SIM. It does not make sense to me. For me, it's such a huge red flag. I would not know how. Yeah, I would run. Yes. How do you break my SIM? How is it that we cannot have a conversation about it? If there's an ex in my life that, you're worried about, we can have a conversation about it. And if it's something that's affecting our relationship, definitely. I mean, why would a wife also insist on being in touch with an ex if it's such a big problem on the marriage? But to break someone's SIM, what do you think that would achieve? She can't get another SIM? You think the number is gone off her head? I don't get it, except only to bully. That's just to show, it's a show of power. I own you now. I can break your SIM. I can stop you. What if she had business contacts on it? It just doesn't make sense.
So
For me, it's not a good thing, really. You can have a conversation and deal with it.
The person does not have technology background because all our phone numbers now are in our cloud. Gmail account is in the cloud. You don't need it, please.
Well, for me, I'm also against the man breaking the lady's SIM card. But then we do not know the stories that led up to him breaking it. He had probably been asking her, they've been talking about it, and he felt that was the last resort to, just break that communication between his wife and her exes. But as a woman, as a married woman, I'm particularly worried about married women that keep in touch or maintain a relationship with their exes. I'm not saying don't talk to them. Of course, no man is, or no woman, or no human being is an island. You need relationships to forge ahead. But when you are beginning to nurture a relationship outside of your home, it's very detrimental to the health of your marriage.
What if you're mature enough to compartmentalize your relationships? Because the truth is that, yes, some people fall, but others don't. Others are able to have a clear mind. You have somebody that cooks for you. No, the doctor that you reference because he's a friend in the past. So you are mature enough to say, you know what, we can have a very civilized relationship. But can you be tempted? I don't know.
Yes, you also have to, there's this street parlance that says Okafor's law.
Yeah.
Once they bear, forever they bear. It means that once something has happened before between, two people, there's a high possibility that it would happen again, unless the relationship was thoroughly severed and, they broke up on bad notes and then they went. But if you bring two people that had feelings, together, the people that used to date and loved each other, and, you leave them to continue nurturing an unhealthy relationship, it could lead to one or two things, because cheating doesn't just have to be, I mentioned this at our last, Saturday edition, that cheating doesn't have to be physical it has to, there's emotional cheating. When you're giving your attention to somebody else apart from your husband, you are nurturing them, you are taking a picture of your outfit and sending it to them, how do I look today?
That one is a relationship.
Exactly, you're already nurturing the relationship, and it can lead to things that can break your marriage. So it's better to just do not be tempted. Don't tempt temptations. And just
Let me take this call from Copenhagen, Denmark. Good morning, sir. Thanks for calling. Oh, sorry, we lost that call. Mariam? Oh,
yes. So I'm on Mariam's side here. If you break my sim, the marriage is over. I don't understand. Because it means that one day you will seize my passport, and another day you will collect car key. Next time you say don't work again. Then we don't have a marriage. I'm imprisoned. That's not a relationship. That is someone being enslaved. And we should not in any way condone it. To think that someone actually called the show to say, this was how I was able to break off my wife from having a relationship with her past. I'm totally uncomfortable with it. And then you cannot even try it with the new generation women that you're meeting. Actually, except you went to go and marry from inside one village.
Yes.
You cannot try it with modern women. They know themselves enough to understand that they are about to be imprisoned. And so there will be either a fight or a flight situation. Nobody will want to be in that space. So I feel that it's not the right approach. I believe that we spend, honestly, we say it all the time, we prepare men, we prepare women for the life as wives more than we prepare men for their lives as husbands. And we need to do more in that regard, because the things we think will make us look macho might lead to a flight or fight situation. You might be the one triggering crisis in your marriage if only you understand how to deal with the situation better.
Let me take Lukman from Moshogbo. Thanks for calling, Lukman.
Yep. Good morning.
Morning.
Yep. I just tuned into my television and I saw the topic for today.
Go ahead,
Actually,
please.
this topic is a very sensitive topic, and I really appreciate this because women tend to say, let's forget about the past. The past is the past. But I don't think the past is always the past. Your past will eventually come to meet you. It will come forward at a certain point of time. That, okay, for someone who has close to 10 or 11 exes, you will eventually, that exes will eventually still come back into your life. So I think we need to just focus on the fact that, okay, let's focus on getting married to a pure individual. Okay, yes, I'll put it in that manner. Getting married to a pure individual. Yes. I don't want to put it in the term dilemma.
Thank you very much. These pure individuals. Listen.
That's where Murayo started from, and I was first looking at her like, what she say? But guess what? Somebody is supporting her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so there are people who are saying, I'm not even saying that we should look. I'm just saying, I'm asking a question. So are we saying that because people, just like they're adults, they would have experiences, they will have relationships, you know? Why would you try to, what are you afraid of? I think that's the question I want to ask. What are you afraid of? Is it that you don't trust your partner? Because women too have that insecurity where their husbands are in contact with their exes. So your ex is somebody, she's a high flyer, bank manager, she's doing something, you know. Imagine somebody who is, let me not mention the name. You know, the woman is a high flyer. We see her, she's corporate Nigeria, she's greeting president, she's traveling around the world, and she's your ex. Girl, what's up, how you doing, how far, you know? And you just link up with her, and you start talking to that kind of person. So, and your wife is home thinking, so you know her, so you guys are going for a meeting. So it happens, but your intention might not be to have a relationship, but it's just to have an opportunity.
See how to open some doors through.
So the point is that, do you close that opportunity because he's my ex, or explore it because I know her very well, she will be able to open this new door for me?
I mean, you only know that if you have a conversation, right? If you go ahead and break a SIM card, you would not know. So it's just about communication. Sure. And really, it's, for me, even as the man, if you have a partner that does not respect your marriage and you are sure that the person is cheating on you with their ex, of course, the person has laid it on the table that person does not want to be in a marriage. So you will be discussing how we will end this thing amicably or not, you know. But it's really an easy situation, really. People that are adults and they respect each other, will respect their marriage. There's no need for violence. You know, we always preach that here. No need for, if you break her SIM card today and then you find out that she has gone ahead to have communication somehow, will you now hate her? You know, and if someone has shown you a style like, oh, it's because she's cheating on me over, why are you insisting on being in that marriage if you cannot take it?
Let me take this call from Ade, calling from London.
Yeah, good morning, ladies.
Morning.
How are you today? Okay, please, I want you to listen very carefully. Something happened last week. I know that some people who are aware of this story, life story, we call him. This guy got married, young couple. They married for 6 years now. The best friend of that guy has dated this guy's wife when they were in university. But none of them tells this guy. He's not aware. So, but they keep on having friends, but they don't have any child. And not knowing that the friend, the ex-boyfriend of this girl, the wife, they were now sleeping together, and the wife got pregnant. And the man thought God has answered their prayer for 6 years. When they got to the hospital to give birth, the lady was there for 5 days. The child couldn't come out. The mother was worried. They went and prayed. They said the guy should the guy should confess to the husband, the friend of the guy, to confess to the husband that he's the owner of that child, not the guy. Then the woman will deliver. Last week, it's on this thing. I know your number, and I'll send it to you. When the friend now confessed to the guy that, I'm sorry, I'm the owner of that child, not you, because I've dated your wife, but I didn't want to tell when we were in university, we come keep that again. That's what the other lady was trying to say, that, David, a month is always a month, and 1 month is always remarkable. People who watch it will call it to tell you. If I have any of your number, I will have sent it to you last week. And until that man refuses, say he's not going to forgive the wife. What about that? Don't contact your ex.
Don't contact your ex. If you need our number to send us the story, you can send to the email.
Okay, so the woman could not give birth in 5 days.
Yeah.
The baby was stuck.
That it was based on...
Okay, the CS did not work either.
No, they said she had to confess.
I mean, the 5 days.
Oh, that was
CS,
it.
yes. Cesarean section in the 5 days still didn't work.
This is in London.
Nigeria is once you're in Nigeria. Anywhere you go to.
That's something Mariah always says. She says Nigerians are Nigerians everywhere.
Yes. You can take the Nigerian from the Nigeria, but you cannot take Nigeria from them. So imagine, so the baby was breached because...
Yes, for 5 days.
Nollywood. But it's all good. I mean, listen, let's not... These things happen. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend, you know. But yeah, Damola, you wanted to jump in and say something?
Yes, I was going to say that it's important to set boundaries. Nobody is saying that do not contact your ex or don't maintain a relationship that can be profitable to your growth, but you need to set that boundary that, okay, at this, I cannot meet you in certain areas. I cannot meet you at this time.
Boundaries are difficult in certain instances.
No, you have to set boundaries, because if you have a man that is insecure, because most men always feel threatened when there's another man giving an emotional support to their wives.
A lot of Nigerian women marry a man, maybe not because they're head over heels. You know, maybe it came around at the right time. Good job. So he ticked all the boxes of he has a job, he's a Christian, and you marry him. But there's not that connection.
Why did you marry him then?
Come on, man. Come on.
Why?
Listen,
the time is right.
Listen, Damola, paint the picture. I'm 35 years old now, and I feel that, listen, I want to settle down. I'm 45 years old, I want to settle down. And the man, he has a good job. I feel I'm no more 21, where I'm thinking, oh, is it tall? Is it handsome? He has a job, he's a Christian, he has a house, you know, the basic things are there. He's a good guy, he's kind, I've seen him. Hey, he takes the boxes, let me marry. Whatever else, as they tell you in church, you can handle it. It's not a man. You're managing somehow. And then that connection, because you're not even supposed to be having intimacy before the marriage, Abi. You now enter it, you need test. And then you now enter it, you're like, oh my God, I'm not even in this circle. But that's your other friend who ticked your box when you're in 22, 23, you now run into him, not because you want to have intentions, but he knows what tickles you. God forbid he's your gym instructor. That is now helping to, oh, hold this. And you're like, oh my goodness. That's true. So there's certain instances you cannot just draw any line.
Of course you can draw a line, unless that marriage is not important to you, unless you do not know what you stand to lose. But if you know that there's a good man at stake.
Exactly.
And then you now allow one ex from 20-something years ago, 15 years or 5 years ago
Tickle
to
your
come and
fancy.
rob you of the happiness that you're enjoying in your current marriage. You should always learn to set boundaries. And then there's this adage in Yoruba that says that, like if you do not give that opportunity for an ex to intrude in your marriage, then they would not intrude. Because I've heard so many stories of women reaching out to their exes, especially if they're going through a financial difficulty, and then maybe there's one ex that is still a big boy. I wish I could have married you. This marriage, I'm not making a lot of money, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe they're still attracted to, the ex. Why did you settle in the first instance? And that brings me back to the importance of the importance that the society places on marriage.
Right.
It does not mean, if you're not married at 35, it does not mean that you're a failure.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're married. Exactly. Your life is not over. So you don't have to settle and choose what you're not attracted to, because marriage is a long-term,
Let me take
journey.
this call.
And then you just settle.
Good morning. Thanks for calling. I think it's Olumide. You're live.
Yes, this is always from over. In my own opinion, if the relationship with your ex is healthy or not, it depends on you. Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
Yes. If to keep the relationship going, or if you affect your marriage, it depends on you. By grace of God, my marriage has been over 12 years, and I have an ex that we do communicate. I do not know her husband. I've never met her husband, but she knows my wife. And whenever I want to talk to her, if I have any personal communication that has to do with her, I relate with my wife before I communicate with her. I learned something sometime ago when Moel said, for you to be great, you need to carry your partner along, because you can meet anybody, especially opposite, what's it called? Opposite gender in case of your work. Carry your partner along, then no matter who your ex is, you still have a good relationship with your marriage. If you are open, then things will be fine. That's just my own opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm tired of talking about cheating and marriages because I believe that there are happy marriages, and it would be nice to just highlight those happy stories for once. But I think many Nigerians have stories that are in terrible marital situations, and sometimes we talk about this so that they can get a glimpse of how to handle where they found themselves. So I feel in relating to someone that breaks your SIM card, I've shared the story about how I was dating someone. I didn't even date the person. The person made intentions known to me that he wanted to have a relationship with me, and we went out, and as we were walking, he held my hand. I wanted to be going, and he held my hand in a very firm way that I was struggling to release my hand. And I said, this kind of person is going to slap me one day. And the idea of that made me not even consider at all. There was another flag of saying that how can a man have more money than a woman? A man that has more, how can a woman have more money than a man? If a woman has more than it's likely going to be arrogant and kineko, I knew it'll work. So we must start seeing red flags as we're dating. And some people don't know it is a red flag because they've never, ever, it has not crossed their mind. But when we talk about these stories, you will start seeing the red flags. And it can be both ways, because we've been addressing this from the perspective of a woman maintaining a relationship with her ex. But some men might be maintaining a relationship with their ex. I have a very fine babe here, very, very hot. If I see my husband saying that we are friends, I will first look twice, because what's the friendship? You have to define. If my husband is coming, or I see my husband say they have meeting, and I see that the meeting is with Oyeda Mola, I will reconsider the conversation like, okay, so what does she do? How are you guys working together? How often do you meet? I want to just understand the extent of the relationship to now hear that the person is your ex. Of course.
Your guards will be out.
Of course, you should understand that you should be careful, and you should open up the conversation to let your husband know, guy, she's your spec. She was there before. I used to be that spec. Now I am size 33. I will go back to being that your spec, but understand that you can become vulnerable to this person. So open up that line of conversation, because the man might not even think about it. It might actually be purely business.
Let me take this
But
call
when
from
you
Goodwill
say
and
it,
come back
you
to
will
you.
now start.
God's will, thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, I just have a few contributions to this topic. You see, the problem we have in a marriage today is that we do not have patience enough to overlook some certain things. And then, these days, we see marriage as a playground. We do not really understand what it means to be married. Because if we do, we should first of all understand that before you go into marriage, there must be a relationship. What I mean by relationship, a friendship. Every marriage ought to have a friendship. Without friendship in a marriage, I tell you, it's not going to work. Because if you have friendship before marriage or friendship in a marriage, you should be able to relate your past with your partner. Yeah. And with this, we won't have lapses that will result to one partner breaking sin or no sin. And I believe that this kind of situation happens in these days' marriage. Because why? We jump into it without knowing what we actually want. Thank you. That is just my contribution.
Thank you very much, Prince Will.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.